Okay, so now it's restarting again.
This is cool. I've done Facebook Lives before, but not via Zoom.
Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, something happened here. Okay, so let me. Oh, it says we're streaming live now on Facebook. Okay, let me just check my phone. So if anyone is watching, excuse us for a moment. I'm getting ready to check my phone just to make sure. Let me just check my phone. Oh, we are. If anyone is watching, excuse us for a moment. Okay, so we are now streaming live. So thank you everyone for joining us today. As you know, this week I have been highlighting some of our illustrious speakers of the Signature CEO Conference. As many of you know, we were supposed to have the conference in early March, but things that are out of our control had to change. And so I am pivoting. We're still going to have the Signature CEO Conference. Keeping fingers crossed, we'll be able to bring that back to you in June. But in the meantime, I want to share our speakers with you. And especially, we're not sharing what we're going to be talking about at the conference, just sharing some things that are going to help you to pivot and navigate through this challenging time with COVID-19, and to just, get you aware that, hey, yes, COVID-19 is out there, but we want you to refocus, regroup, and know that you are running a business and things still need to move forward, maybe moving forward a little differently, but we want you to move forward. And so today we have Miss Jacquette Timmons of Sterling Investment, and she is a pricing maven. That's what I want to call her. She helps people, price their brand appropriately, not only brands, but individuals. So she is going to talk to us today about 5 essential tips that we can use during this time with our business. So Jacquette, I'm going to turn it over to you. But first, I want you to tell people a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Jacquette Timmons, and I work as a financial behaviorist. And I think one bit of information that's going to be really beneficial for you to know about my background is that this is my 3rd stock market crash. So I saw the one in 1987 up close and personal. It is what inspired me to want to know more about behavioral economics and behavioral finance. So that's really the seed of my business. And I think knowing that is really beneficial for you to understand the lens through which I see all of this. Now, granted, this is my first pandemic, but in terms of the financial crisis, we've been here before, and I definitely have a perspective on how we can navigate this hyper uncertain time, because the truth of the matter is life is always uncertain. It's just that now it's even more so. So again, I work as a financial behaviorist. I do one-on-one coaching with singles, couples, and entrepreneurs. I'm a for-hire speaker, and I also host events. And I love being described now as the pricing maven because I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for entrepreneurs, especially because I am one, and especially because I know that there are some things that we do with regards to how we run our business and how we relate to money that doesn't always put ourselves front and center, and we need to be.
Awesome. Thank you. So you have some tips. The first one I like is panic pricing. Avoid the temptation to do it. So what does that mean?
Yeah. So around this time, you tend to see a lot of panic decision making. You see it when you go to the store and the shelves are completely empty because people are panic buying. You see it when folks are selling in the stock market and they're panic selling because they are, afraid of how much further the market is going to go down. And then you also see it in the entrepreneurial small business community, especially for those that offer a service where the idea is a response to this moment in time and as a way of being of service is to reduce your pricing. And if you're not reducing your pricing because it is strategic, it's a strategic move, that probably means that you are panic pricing. And that not only has a negative impact on your bottom line, but it also has a negative impact on your psyche and your emotional well-being. And it communicates the wrong story. When you take a step back and step away from the emotion of the moment, it communicates the wrong story that you want to tell about your business and who you serve and how you serve and the value that you want to bring to them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I did speak with a creative that's in our industry, and that's what she said to me. She said, I'm just going to have to start dropping my prices. And I'm just like, whoa, you don't need to drop your prices, show people that you care and maybe, bring more value to the forefront as far as like who you are. There's definitely no need to drop, our prices during this time.
Yeah, as I did a video about this earlier in the week, and one of the things that I said is, reducing your pricing does not make you a more empathetic person or business owner. So if you want to express your empathy and compassion, absolutely do so, but don't do it in a way that it may ultimately harm your business and your family.
Okay, awesome. Tip number 2, create a condensed offer instead. So is that kind of to alleviate us from reducing the pricing?
Absolutely. So it's the answer to that. So if you're feeling the pressure of, oh my God, I have to reduce my pricing, actually take a step back, like take a deep breath, pause for a moment, and take a step back and think about if whether someone doesn't have the financial capacity or the time capacity to engage with how you normally serve them, then come up with a different way of working with them. So I know that may sound a little abstract. So let me give you an example of one of the decisions that I've made. So when I'm working one-on-one, I typically work with people 4-month engagement, sometimes 5, depending upon schedules, et cetera. And that's about 6 or 7 calls. Well, right now, people may have just one thing that they need to get some help with, and they may not have the capacity in terms of price and time. So I've come up with one session, a 75-minute session. So that's my way of continuing to be of support and service to people, but in a way that doesn't require a big financial investment and a big commitment in time.
Awesome. And then the next one is do an expense audit. Ooh, that's scary.
It is, but I had a coaching session with one of my clients earlier in the week, and one of her fears was, do I have enough? And, the way to answer that question, I think, to give people some evidence of whether they do or they don't, is to actually do a couple of things. One, look at your last 6 months of expenses, and then look at 2019 January through March versus 2020 January through March. And when you look at your expenses, and then also do a review of your income as well, but when you look at your expenses, you might get a chance to see, oh, actually, I'm not doing as badly as I feel, because you're feeling the weight of the crisis of the moment. And that emotion, whatever it is for you, is very real. So I'm not trying to dismiss it. But what I am trying to convince people of is the fact that you might need some more evidence to show you that you are ready, you are prepared, or if not, you have some evidence that shows you, okay, I'm not prepared, but now I know precisely by how much I'm not prepared and what it is that I need to do with it. So that feeling of, or that sentiment of, do I have enough or will I have enough, instead of it being this vague enough, now you can go back and you can add some numbers to it based on your history, based on 6 months of history and based upon this same time period last year. And that will help you.
Okay, awesome.
And also, if I can just say one other thing,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is also a really good time to always review your expenses, because I feel like every expense ought to fight for the right to be on your income statement. And your expense is either one that is helping you to grow your business, or it's helping you to operate your business more efficiently. And you may decide that once you do this audit, that either some of those expenses need to go away completely, or maybe you need to downshift the level of service that you have with whomever that provider may be.
Okay.
So that can be a really good exercise.
So with the audit, is this something that you think that that should be practiced continually, not just during a crisis?
I think so. I think a crisis is what, can probably spark it, but I think it's something that you ought to do at least twice a year, if not an annual exercise.
Okay. Awesome. And then the decision tree, what is that all about?
Again, I think when we are in crisis mode and we don't know what to do, we end up making, it's not instinctive. We end up making decisions in the immediate moment without necessarily pausing to see if it's not only going to make us feel good in the short term, but also have positive long-term implications. And so the decision tree is really designed to, one, help you to pause, help you to think about, well, what's the trigger for this moment in terms of, not the trigger for the pandemic, but the trigger for the decision. And to ask yourself, if everything were normal, would you still make the decision about what you're going to do? And there is no right or wrong, because that's only for each person to decide. But at least you can know, am I making this decision because I'm reacting in the moment and then just be good with it? Or if you're making this decision because you're being reactive in the moment, but you also understand that there's a positive long-term play embedded in there as well. And I would think if you can, give yourself like 24 to 48 hours before you actually, finalize whatever the decision is that you're contemplating, because perhaps even within that time frame, the variables that you are considering, maybe even those variables may have changed, and that might alter the decision that you ultimately make. So I think the idea of the decision tree is to pause, look at the trigger, and then also give yourself a bit of time before you actually have to make that decision, if you can.
Okay. And kind of what you're describing is that as far as like making all of these rash decisions, one of our speakers that we had before, Dan Simons, he's the owner of a group of restaurants in the DC market. And he spoke with us about leading with heart rather than leading with mind. And basically you need to have a balance of the two, because if you lead too much with heart, you're going to make a lot of wrong decisions rather than thinking about the financial aspect of what your business is doing and, trying to make a profit with your business.
Yeah, and this may seem like an odd suggestion. Hi, darling. This may seem like an odd suggestion. Okay. This may seem like an odd suggestion, but I think it is really beneficial in moments like this, and it is the practice of journaling. And so if you can think on paper, write out on paper what you're thinking, what you're feeling, that will help you to see more clearly those moments where your emotions are leading you rather than you are leading your emotions. Because the fact of the matter is, your emotions are always at play. And we react with our money emotionally all the time. And so it's not a matter of whether emotions are a part of the equation. It's a matter of whether you are in front leading that emotion, or if your emotions are in front leading you. And when it's that, when your emotions are is what's leading you, you tend not to make the clearest and the best quality of choice that you possibly could make.
Awesome. So the last bullet point that you have here, which I thought was interesting, I was like, okay, I want to know, what does this have to do with money? So practice more self-care. Definitely want to know how that relates to our money-making decisions.
So running a business is stressful in any day. It is even more stressful under these times. And if you want to have a clear mind, you got to take care of yourself. And for some people, that may mean exercising. For others, it may mean a combination. Hey there. It may mean it may mean a combination of exercising and meditating and journaling. But now more than ever, you have got to take care of yourself. And one of the things that I'm always stressing about, when we talk about investing, my particular way of approaching that conversation is, yes, when we talk about investing, we need to think about financial wealth, right? And all of the different ways that we build that up. But another part of that is social wealth, time wealth, and physical wealth, and emotional / well-being wealth. And those things need to be tapped into even more. So it's almost like you've got to double down. So you've got to protect your timeline. You've got to make sure that you're setting aside the time to however you work out. Like, I'm a runner, and I'm so glad that even though we are in stay-at-home mode in New York City, that we can at least still go out for a run, because otherwise I'd go crazy. But whatever it is that you do, make sure that you are making the time to do that, even as you are responding to your clients' needs and the needs of your family and the needs of your own business. Make sure you're taking care of you.
Okay, awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it from Jacquette. One, panic pricing, avoid the temptation to do it. Two, create a condensed offer instead. Do an expense audit, and not just during this crisis. She's recommending doing it at least twice a year. Create a decision tree, and then most of all, take care of yourselves. You have nothing but time to take care of yourself right now.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes. Pamper yourself, at home. At this time, before we let Jacquette go, are there any questions out there? No one has listed any questions. Well, while we're waiting on questions, Jacquette, do you want to tell people how they can find you?
Sure. You can go to jacquettetimmons.com. That's my website. I'm really active on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter. And then especially if you are feeling, a bit of financial stress right now, whether that is real and that you're feeling it in this moment, or it's because of what you anticipate coming in the coming months, do the financial wheel exercise, which is on my website. It's free. Because one of the things that I think is really important at this time is to make sure that you don't let the crisis of the moment obscure your vision and your financial vision and the role that you want money to play in your life. Yes, we have to respond to decisions in the moment, but we also need to make sure that we are still laying claim to that vision of the role that we want money to play. So don't forget that, and the financial wheel can help you with that, and it's free.
Okay. And then don't you have like some mastermind groups also?
So I have not mastermind groups. So a couple of things. The dinner series that I host, we're now doing that virtually. So if anybody wants to talk about negotiation and also, talk about how with more people now working from home, that will change some of the dynamics that comes with negotiating. Our next dinner is this coming Monday, the 30th. So if you want to register for that, you can do so from the website or just send me a message. So there's that. I do a pricing retreat. And then I do one-on-one coaching. And for this period of time, again, if people don't want to do a full-on engagement, we can do a financial pivot session. So just give me a message, reach out to me and we can talk about it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will post all of her information once this finalizes on the Facebook page. I'll go back into the session here, and I will put down all of her contact. Sorry about that. Put down all of her contact information for you so that you can reach out. But thank you, Jacquette, for providing us with all of these helpful tips, some things that I need to work out myself. So I definitely thank you. I want you to be safe and healthy.
Thank you.
Safe and healthy, everyone. Let's practice that social distancing so that we can get back to normal. Once everybody does what they're supposed to do, we can get back to norm.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for joining us, everyone, and follow us on our Instagrams and Facebook pages, and be on the lookout for when we do reschedule the Signature CEO Conference. We will be opening it up, registration again, but only for a limited amount of people that will be open the registration up for. So yes, continue to follow us, and we look forward to seeing you guys soon. And we'll have even more speakers next week, so please be on the lookout. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.